The United States federal government should ban all testing that requires the use of animals. Animal testing is immoral. Rebecca Walker, PhD, talks about the animal rule, which calls for the use of animals most similar to us to be used in harmful studies that often result in death. Even using humans in these studies, even with their consent, their knowledgeable consent, is considered too inhumane. So why are animals okay to use? Is it because we think that they're less than us somehow? By subjecting these animals to this torture, we are being immoral and inhumane. Project X depicts chimps that are trained to fly space shuttles and are used in a test where they're exposed to radiation until they die. Um, the movie shows these animals being trained for the sole purpose to be essentially tortured and killed. And this happens every day in real life. These animals communicate fear and pain to us, so why do we continue to put them through all of these studies, all of these tests that result in their own deaths? Animal testing also often yields inaccurate results. Drugs are put on the market and later found to be harmful to humans, even though they've been extensively tested on animals. This is because different species of mammals react differently to illnesses and medications. What's good for one species might not work for another species. So why base our test results off of another animal? A study at SUNY New Paltz showed that between 1976 and 1985, 51.5% of 198 tested drugs caused reactions in humans severe enough to remove them from the market. This means that these drugs are slipping through our systems, even though they are appearing to be okay for other animals. They're not okay for us. So why continue harming these animals and receiving inaccurate results? A federal ban across the board is completely necessary. It prevents states from doing their own thing and avoids discrepancies in testing methods across the countries. If one state decides that animal testing is okay and another doesn't, the data from both tests could be different. It could result in just confusion in the scientific community. Only a federal ban would allow for unity among the states in regards to testing, and it would save all animals instead of only saving animals in a couple of states, so they're lucky on depending on where they end up. I propose a counter plan. Stem cell research is a viable alternative. It's experimentation without pain and suffering. Human embryonic stem cells are highly adaptable and reproduce indefinitely. Lone Skeen of the University of Melbourne talks about how stem cell research may allow new drugs through, ones that affect animal cells negatively but not human cells. These drugs are normally stopped at earlier stages of testing because they show negative results in animals that would not show up in humans. It can also allow for flagging safety issues earlier on, stuff that doesn't show up in animals but does show up in humans. By testing on human embryonic cells, we're eliminating the pain and suffering that the animals do feel and still getting accurate test results. It comes down to a battle of morals versus utilitarianism. Society is based on a strict moral code, and disregarding this code could result in the collapse of society itself. Do the ends justify the means? Nazi doctors tested on Jewish prisoners, and they made many new discoveries that are important today, but they viewed those prisoners as animals, as less than them, which is the way we are viewing these animals. Um, these new discoveries were made, but society still agrees that it's wrong, and so is animal testing. And by continuing animal testing, we are continuing to harm these animals for what? For inaccurate test results, and needs to be federally banned.